to Quality for Growth podcast. My name is Clara, your host. I am excited today to have a conversation with a very amazing woman that I'm going to introduce to you in a bit. This woman is one who has actually, who wants to change, the mindsets of the children, turning them into entrepreneurs, and something that a lot of parents have been daring to do. So allow me to do this honor. Ms. Chimfwembe, you're welcome to Quality for Growth podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Clara.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah.
Quality for Growth podcast. I'm sure I'm going to grow.
Absolutely. I'm excited. Ms. Chimfwembe, I just want to know at which point, as you tell us about yourself, did you come up with a mindset that you'd want to transform the children?
At which point?
Yes. Maybe you can start by telling us who Ms. Chimfwembe is.
So who is Chimfwembe? So basically, I am an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Who is, of course, from Zambia, born and bred.
Wow.
Grew up in Mozambique, came back to
great.
Zambia, went to Botswana, came back to Zambia.
Oh, yeah.
So I've just said, I think Zambia just wants me to be.
Absolutely.
to be here. So I founded what we now call Z Kidpreneur Academy in 2020.
Wow.
And this was something that I said, what we do is, as of now, we're a multi-award winning academy.
Wow.
We've been recognized by the Bank of Zambia themselves.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is good.
Thank you.
That's really good.
Yes, we have received, I think from 2021, we've been receiving awards for basically what we do. So
fantastic.
we are, a lot of people, when you tell them Z Kidpreneur, everyone thinks, what are you doing?
Yes.
So we are mentoring and teaching children between the ages of 4 to 18.
From 4 to 18?
Yes.
Amazing.
So from
Amazing.
4 years to 18. So we talk to them about everything that involves life.
Yes.
That they're not learning in school, that they need to know.
That they need to know.
Because whether one is a doctor, a farmer, a gardener,
yes. At the end of the day,
there are certain things that everyone must know. So
absolutely.
We talk financial literacy.
Yes.
We talk entrepreneurship.
Wow.
We talk public speaking.
Wow.
We talk climate change and waste management, and of course, skill development. At which point did I decide to do all this? I don't really have a time I can pinpoint and say it was here.
Meaning it's in you, right? It's a passion that you have.
It's been a driving passion.
Yeah.
There's not really a time where I said, okay, now I'm going to do it. But then I've always loved children.
Wow. You have children of your own?
I do. I have two.
How many do you have?
I have two, a boy and a girl.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
How old are they?
My son is 12.
Wow.
And my daughter is 11.
Okay, great.
So I have kids of my own. Even from when I was young, like I always worked well with babies.
Wow.
So I was always the one babysitting. Whenever anyone sees me here, this is your child. So.
And you know why I get a lot of interest in kidpreneurship? And when I saw your profile, I said, I think we need to have a chat with Ms. Chimfwembe. Because I think a lot of parents are guilty. We have focused so much on making money for ourselves. And we have focused so much on being, good entrepreneurs ourselves. But we're leaving generations behind. We are leaving generations behind. But the challenge that parents always talk about, that I think I personally have, is especially to tell a 4-year-old about enterprising. Which method do you use, Ms. Chimfwembe? How do you go about that?
So when we were coming up with this and we centered around children, the first thing I thought, what does a 4-year-old do?
Yeah.
What does a 4-year-old do for entertainment?
For entertainment.
There's now this Baby Shark song, Coco Melon, all this. So we thought, okay, so it's animation these days for a 4-year-old. That's the way you catch it. That's why we are forced to pay subscription because we know our children
absolutely
need to watch. So we said, okay, so what is in Coco Melon? What songs do I remember from nursery that I can never forget?
Yeah.
A, B, C, D, Humpty Dumpty.
Yes.
We Wish You a Merry Christmas.
A Merry Christmas, that one doesn't leave kids' mouth.
Because these are songs that I didn't learn when I was an adult. I learned them when I was 4. And so if I'm going to go to a child and say, putting money aside is saving, and I'm singing to them, and there's a bit of animation, and they're watching that 5 days.
So whenever they see money, they want to put it aside.
It's now a
put
song.
It in their bank. Yes.
And so they say putting aside money, so you're getting them through what they.
Wow.
When you go a bit to the older kids, what is now taking over them? Social media.
A lot
all
of
these
tech.
things.
Yes.
So you basically just go in the group range. What gets their attention? Is it animation? Is it TikTok challenges?
Yes.
Is it you basically reduce yourself to a child.
Absolutely. This is what I was going to say. I said, Ms. Chimfwembe, what you're simply saying is we've got to jump into, what our kids do for us to understand fully what it is that they're spending their time to do. Otherwise, you won't be able to know which method to use to be able to pass on the right information to them.
Because even if you've been to a training or a workshop, when does your mind switch off?
Yes.
Your mind switches off at one point. You're just like, okay,
yes, I'm done.
When I was working in a corporate job and I was working for someone, you just go for the training because maybe one, you get an allowance out of it. Maybe two, you have to go. Otherwise your job is at risk, but you're listening there and the teaching. So if us adults get bored with teaching,
what more the children, especially the formal teaching, because that was going to get me to the next point. How do you just break down the complexity of bringing down the entrepreneurship subject to children? Let's talk about an 11-year-old one. I have children myself. I have 4. So 2 are in university. Actually, 1 just graduated. He's in the Ministry of Agriculture.
Oh, congratulations.
And thank you so much. And so when you talk about enterprising for kids, my youngest actually is 14 years. She's in grade 12.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's quite enterprising as well, because I think the other time I saw her making a few bracelets and she saw the number, to her friends, and she raised 150 kwacha and she was so proud.
Nice. Then please don't shun her away, because what we've discovered is not everyone is entrepreneurial, but everyone needs the skill.
Yeah, you're right.
Because there's being an entrepreneur and then there's having the entrepreneur skill.
Yeah.
So what is an entrepreneur skill? It's being able to market, being able to talk, being able to negotiate.
Yeah.
And all those things, even as a doctor, some people might ask, how does this come in as a doctor? Even as a doctor, when you're in the thing and you have a patient.
Yes.
And now you have to explain to the patient, say, this is your cancer. Yes. You're not just going to walk in and say, so you have cancer.
So you have cancer and you have 2 months.
According to your results, you have 2 months. There's a certain way you need to speak to your patient. So entrepreneurial skills, everyone must know.
Absolutely.
Like, even if you're being an entrepreneur, like you said, you can see.
Yeah.
As a parent, sometimes you can see that, oh, my child loves this.
Yes.
For me, my son loves fixing things.
Absolutely, isn't it?
Give my son a car, it will be dismantled and put together in 2 days. So I said, this one is an engineer.
He's an engineer already.
Waste our time asking him, what do you want to be? This one is an engineer. So when you have a young child that you see, like you said, your daughter loves making bracelets.
Yes.
And now you want to explain entrepreneurship to them in the basic way.
Yes.
So number one, you're going to go to a child's level, age-appropriate language.
Yes.
You can't go to a 14-year-old and tell them we're looking at the GDP of the country,
and they will not understand,
even
because that is away from them. Yes,
GDP is not a common word.
Absolutely.
To them. So basically, what you're going to tell a child is, first you start with the financial literacy aspect of it, to explain to them financial literacy and talk to them about earning money.
Yeah.
A common thing we always heard, I think, when I was growing up, is money doesn't grow on trees.
It doesn't grow on trees, so you've got to work hard for it.
For your money.
Yes.
What.
That is something that we grew up listening to. Yes.
So we always tell children money has value.
Absolutely.
So the value is what you do to get that money.
Yes.
That's where the money is.
Yes.
Even if you're giving children money, we always tell the children, look, if mom is giving you money, someone worked for that money. There's no free money.
Yes.
And that's why money has value.
Yes.
Go to the bank with 999 kwacha.
Yes.
And tell them, I'm depositing 1,000 kwacha.
They will not accept, because it won't be 1,000.
Because of that one kwacha. So even the one kwacha has its own value.
Absolutely.
To make a 1,000. So when you come down to a child, firstly, you're going to talk to them about what entrepreneurship is. Making money. The simplest way to tell a child, do you want to make your own money?
Yes.
Okay. You want to
How do you want to make your own money then?
How do you make money? Let's start with, of course, when we are talking to children, we say entrepreneurship starts with the thought.
The thought.
It's think, write, act.
Think, write, and act.
So first,
I love that already. I think it applies to adults.
Even to adults.
Think, write, and act.
First, you're going to sit down and say, okay, do we have an idea? Yes, we have an idea. We want to do bracelets. So I'll pick your daughter's example. We want to do bracelets.
Yeah.
Okay. Bracelets, nice. What type of bracelets do we want
do you want to make? Yes.
Do we want, there's now all these eco-friendly products.
Yes.
Do we want to make something out of beads? Do we want to make something with people's names?
Yes.
Do we want to make something, what type of beads?
Actually, what she was making is with people's names.
Yes.
And she did initials, and I saw some of them.
Quicker than the normal bracelets, because who wouldn't want something? Because if you're going to sell it to me, I want my child's name.
I want my child's name.
I want my other son's name.
So it even you make 10.
More. So when you tell her, okay, great. So this is what we're going to do. So now let's write down. Yeah. That's where now you break down everything. So who are we selling
to? Who are we selling to? Your market.
We can't tell children the whole world, the whole Lusaka. Yes. Because as entrepreneurs, Lusaka is not a target market.
I get
Who
that.
wears bracelets?
Yeah.
of your friends. Okay, I want to sell to my friends and my teachers. So you narrow it down and then you start writing.
Yes.
1-page business plan. It doesn't have to be
A big one. So
10.
kids can actually do a business plan.
We have
break that one down.
templates.
I think as a parent, I'm interested.
We have templates
You
that
have
we give
templates
to
for
children
kids,
for business plans.
Okay.
So a business plan for a child is basically, what do I want to do? How will I market it? What is my profit? And where will my target market?
What is my target market?
1 page, and the child is good to
Yeah.
go. So you're going to start with what's my brand?
Yes.
Because then every child must know there's something called a brand. There's something must be identified as.
Wow.
Is it Sally's Beads? Is it Beads for Change? Is it what do you
want to associate yourself with?
Because then you're teaching a child also that there's Sally.
Yes.
And then there's Sally's Beads.
And there's Sally's,
those are two different people.
Absolutely.
You shouldn't mix Sally with Sally's Beads. And Sally's Beads shouldn't get into Sally. So when you're talking about
they already
brands,
know how to differentiate.
When you're talking about brands, already opening it up to them that, look, there's your business and there's you.
Yeah.
Two different things. Yes, you are your business, but those two must be
How
separated.
do you get to identify the passion? Because you see, children are different. Like I told you, I have got 4 of my own, plus I've got a number of adopted ones. My house is always full. The minimum number of people in my house is 15.
Wow. I want to be like you.
Yeah, truly. So the minimum number of people in my house has always been maybe 15, between 12 and 15 people, all the time. Okay, so these are 2 different people, ages and all that. Sometimes it's difficult for you to identify the passion in another child. Maybe you're focusing so much on the one that has already shown you that they can make something. What about the one that is introverted, but you feel there's something? What psychology should we apply as parents? Because I think we are guilty.
So as parents, what I believe is the first thing we must accept that there's a Bemba saying, I don't want to embarrass. I know I don't want to embarrass myself. I know that. I'm very Bemba, but I don't want to embarrass myself. There's a saying that says you can be in one field, but every corn is its own. So the first thing as a parent, you need to identify my children are not the same.
Yes, of
they
course.
all came from me, but they're not the same.
They're not the same.
My minimal as they are, my 2 kids, my son is an extrovert.
Wow.
He loves fixing things. He loves my daughter. A mixture of both, but she's more on the books. So I've already identified who loves to. My son loves to sell. Yeah. He sold to me. Even the last time he was selling something to me, he said, there's nothing like family discount. Yeah, I'm selling. This is my price.
Yes.
So you identify. So first, as a parent, you need to identify to say that my children are different.
Yeah.
There will be the noisy one.
There will be the noisy ones, the quiet ones.
There will be the smart ones. We don't say they're dull.
Yes.
There will be those who are slow.
Yes.
So when you as a parent, and just tell yourself to say, I accept them as they are.
Yeah.
Where do you see the entrepreneur skill? Is in a child who loves to want to talk. Yeah. If your child is ever, Mommy, this is my son, is like that. He's ever, so Mommy, this. Yeah. Mommy, he's always inquisitive, asking questions.
Absolutely.
And then 2, you will notice in a child is if they always want to try and bring up the topic of money.
Yes.
Say, so guys, who wants to earn money?
Who wants to earn money here?
And you hear, because sometimes we tell children another way of earning money is with chores.
Yes.
But we always say that there are chores that you should never be paid for in your life. Even my children know. Making your bed, cleaning your room,
never be paid for
washing plates. No matter how many times you do it in this house, I will never pay you for making
I like
your
that.
bed.
No matter how many times you do your bed, I will never pay you for that. It's your bed.
I will never pay you because, of course, you still want to teach them responsibility.
Absolutely.
You don't want them growing up and saying, someone needs to pay me to make my bed. So then you introduce chores. Start there.
Sometimes chores. Washing cars, go and wash that
outside.
Car. Yes.
My son knows whenever he wants to make some small money, the outside is always, though I tell him it's your job, you're the man. Because I always tell him, you're the man of this house. Man. Yes. I even heard it when I went to pick up his report for him. He say, the mother to the man of the house. This boy comes here and says, I'm the man of the house.
I'm the man of the house.
I'm the man. And so
so he will grow up with that mentality.
He will grow up with that mentality. Yeah. So then when you do the chores, pick who is more interested in wanting to do them.
Absolutely. So this also means that you also have to work on just coming up with words of affirmation for the children.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
That's what every time we teach children, we talk about affirmation.
Wow.
But then the struggle is already me as a parent. I don't do my own affirmations.
That's a point.
How do I bring it down to my child?
That's the point, Ms. Chimfwembe.
So
we are guilty.
We are struggling with our self-esteem as parents.
Yeah.
How do I bring it on to my child?
Absolutely.
But then that's where you say, I want to break the barrier. Mm-hmm. That's where I think the low self-esteem ends. Because even as adults are struggling.
We're struggling quite a lot. And especially now.
Very
and
much.
we have a lot of mental issues, which I think also in turn affects the children that we are looking after.
Yes. Even I was telling my friend and saying, sadly, we've come into a time where everyone is just taking their lives because they think it's the easy way out. Taking their lives. So
Sometimes it's so scary. And with social media, our kids, especially the ones that are already on social media, like my older child is 27. So you know that they're already on social media. The younger one is 14, so
more or less already.
Yes, more or less already on social media. So they are seeing you can't prevent it.
Yes, you can't prevent it.
But then how do you ensure that, as a parent, you are disseminating the right information right in your house? I think the idea is not being too busy, because I think parents were too busy. So we leave the house very early and we come back late. So when we are coming back, we are doing one or two things. That is preparing your dinner, and then you have less conversations,
exactly.
and off you go to bed.
So I once said this to someone and say, this is why we say changing the mindset. Because the way I parent is the way my mother parented me. Is the way her mother parented her.
Yeah, that is true.
Is the way, that's the way
so
we
it's
parent.
going generational.
That's
to
the way we
generation.
parent. In as much as we hear a lot of adults saying these days we are more lenient mothers.
Yeah.
So there's so many factors.
But you agree that we're lenient mothers? I think so.
Yes, no, we are.
I think we're lenient. We are very lenient.
Yeah.
The way we grew up, oh my God.
I stopped manhandling my children. We are very lenient, because now when I look at my son and I think the things you do.
Yes. Oh my God.
My mother. You don't even tolerate half the things you do.
Absolutely.
Even at my daughter,
I think it was just me.
And I say, anyway, I don't want.
They'll even tell you, it was then. You keep saying your mother this. Can we, if it's now, your mother would have been reported to the police.
Even though our parents were harsh, I think we're much better, even though we're lenient parents, than the children we see growing now.
Yeah.
It's so sad with what we're seeing now.
Absolutely.
So to answer your first question is, how do we, with busy lives?
Yes.
So when someone once asked me to say, how do you balance your life with all these things going on? I said, the first thing you have to do, of course, is identify. What are my roles in my life?
Yes.
You can be saying I have a busy life, but you're just a mother in the
Absolutely.
In the employee or employer. That's the only basic roles you have. So how busy are you? So for me, like when I sit down, I say, okay, I'm a mother, I'm a business owner, I'm a friend, because my life involves friends. I'm a family member, because my and all
that. Yes, you've got to attend to this and that.
You still are a family member.
There's a lot of juggling there.
There's a lot of things. Yes. So in our busy lives, how do we identify, especially something like parenthood, because no matter how much time our children spend at school, our children follow what we say. So it's between you and the teacher.
Yes.
So I always have conversations with my children's teachers.
Yes.
Like it's between me and you and the teacher. Those are where they spend their lives.
Absolutely.
So if my daughter has said that before, where she did something, I told her, don't do it.
And the teacher
said. She came back and did it, said, teacher said.
Teacher said, yes.
So now you can't tell your child, so between you and your teacher, who are you going to
listen to?
Because then she's conflicted. She goes back, she won't listen to teacher.
Yes.
Because she says, my mother said.
My mother said.
So how do we balance everything and make time for our children? I think it's just basically a sacrifice, the way our parents made sacrifices for us.
A lot of sacrifices.
It's us understanding to say parenthood comes with sacrifice.
Yes. Absolutely.
I might want to go out and, let my hair loose once in a while.
Yes.
Which is allowed, very allowed.
Very allowed,
I can tell myself, sometimes my kids will say, Mommy, can you fall? I said, nope.
Yes.
Today I'm Chimfwembe. I'm not anyone's mother.
I'm not anyone's mother. I'm attending to myself. I must feed in myself before I can feed into your cup. Absolutely.
There's a preacher I once heard said, how do you feel from an empty cup?
Yes.
Because if my cup is empty, how do I fill up your cup? Then I'm done as well.
Yes.
So it's basically you as a parent understanding I need to sacrifice time.
So sometimes if your name is Chimfwembe, I'm just I'm taking care of
today
me.
I'm not an Isaiah.
I love that.
I've taken off an Isaiah's hat. Today I'm Chimfwembe.
And sort of Chimfwembe, that's what actually brings you back to the fact that once you realize who you are, it becomes very easy for you to identify once again where you need to make, some corrections in terms of how you're raising the children and how you're preparing them for the enterprising that we are talking about.
Exactly.
So because if you just go flat out, then chances are that you're going to be one-sided.
Very much.
Because when you forget yourself, then how do you impart in them?
Very much.
You need to be conscious of the fact that you need to show them that you are as human.
Yeah.
So even me as your mother, I love it.
Because even I have, even me myself, have felt like that, and I've had friends who say, I haven't done a good. I won't say I'm a perfect mother.
Yeah.
Far from it.
Yeah,
I've made
all
my
of us.
mistakes.
All of
there are
us.
some things I wouldn't want my children to know.
Yes.
But But it's first you need to accept yourself. It comes back to you saying, okay, I'm not a perfect mother, but at least I'm trying.
I'm trying.
I'm trying to
and
get
they
my
must
things
see
in.
that,
Yes.
especially the 11 years one. For me, I have serious conversations because they're older now. You can see the younger one being 14.
Yes.
So there are times when they would even sit you down. I don't know whether that happens in your house as well. So they will sit you down and say, but this is what we have noticed. This A, B, C, and D is not happening the way C and D was happening. So now we need to know.
Back chatting with the helper.
Yeah.
And my son calls me and says, Mommy, when you have time, I would like to speak to you.
Why?
This usually it was the other way around.
Yes,
My mother
but
tells
now
me,
why
you want
to speak to me?
So I said, okay. And I'm very curious. I said, my son is telling me he wants to talk to me. And then I was laughing when I was telling my friend was like, hey, if he was older, you would have said, I hope they fumo. So when I sat down and talked to him, and he told me to say, of late, he mentioned his sister has been answering Auntie back. And I told Auntie to tell you, but it's like she doesn't want to tell you.
Oh, my God.
So she's answering her back.
She's
and I keep telling her,
back, yes.
Don't answer Auntie like that. What does Mommy say?
Yes.
And so then I picked and said, wow. So...
Look, so they know.
These children know.
Yes.
They know he's only 12, but he knows.
He knows to say, no, this is not supposed to happen this way.
This is not supposed to happen.
And this is the reason why, as parents, I always talk about this. Parents, we need to watch our actions. Because in as much as we are training them to enterprise, but how do you become a good entrepreneur? You as an adult already, you are already looking at issues to do with character. Your character, if your character is bad, the children know. They see that truly, Mommy, when she's going out, it's just something here. And they will tell you what they... Mommy, how do you feel comfortable moving out there? So you have a responsibility.
Exactly.
To ensure that your character is up to par, because these people will hold you to account one day. You've got to explain like what you're saying.
They will tell you and say, Ngaimwe. And then what are you going to tell your child and say... No, it's because it was me. And everything.
Because I'm an adult. So then they'll just be waiting to say, so when you become an adult, what do you do? This is a lifestyle.
Yeah, so it's just basically starting to implement. That's why I say, even though you're not teaching them entrepreneurship, the skills must be there.
Absolutely.
Because they would definitely need it. Because the way my son came to me and said it wasn't right the way his sister talked to him, if he decides to become an entrepreneur, he'll know how to speak to his clients. Because he knows there's a certain way you speak to people.
Yes.
Even when you're upset, there's a certain way you communicate with people.
Yes.
So it's all this stuff still come into entrepreneurship. Yes. Because then he'll know, even if his workers, he'll say, no, that's not how you talk.
That's not how, yes.
Because he started, he knew, she's taught Auntie, why is she talking to Auntie like this?
Yes.
And then he even went and told her, tell Mommy. But she,
so he went and told the helper to say, tell Mommy that she was spoken back to.
And he saw, no, she's not doing anything. And he said,
let me do it for her.
So already I'm teaching him communication skills.
Yes.
So then communication, very important as an entrepreneur.
That's fantastic.
Because sometimes clients can be clients.
Yes, absolutely. and if you're in business already, you know that clients can be clients. And you cannot joke with the fact that clients are different. They're like these 5 fingers, They are very different. The way these 5 fingers are different, that's how clients are. And you've got to know a lot of mechanisms on how to handle them. So just as well, you have kidpreneurship, where you are preparing the children and training them from, a tender age. But the question that I wanted to also know is, you said you start them at 4. Could we dare parents to start observing their children as early as 4 years?
Yes.
Especially here in Zambia, we don't do that. In Europe, we find a 6-year-old is a millionaire. What's wrong with our kids?
In China, China, if you look at, there was a TikTok video I was watching where the children were playing basketball in a very sequential way.
Wow.
Everyone was doing this side, everyone was doing this side. And then the one who was watching it stitched and said, I can't even get my kids to sit down. And those are young kids who are about 6 and everything. So can parents identify from a 4-year-old? We always joke and say this generation is like 10 times what we were.
Yes.
They are growing 10 times faster.
That's true.
4-year-olds, remember back, I think maybe more when you were growing up.
Yes.
It was only straight into grade 1, right?
Yes.
Because you can only start school in grade 1. I remember I was told stories where you have to put
your hand...
If it can't reach here, you're not ready for
then you
But
can't
look
qualify.
how everything turned around.
Yes.
Now we have reception, middle class, and baby class.
Yes.
Baby class, which is what? there's that age group of 4.
Yes.
So when they go to baby class, some parents say, you're just going to learn color.
Yes, but no.
But believe me,
no.
Whatever they are picking at school, even just to hold the pencil, you have to learn.
Yes.
Because it starts like holding a pencil
yes.
like this. Eventually, we start.
You start holding it like this.
Even just holding a pencil, a
like
child
this.
has to learn.
Yes.
So you see that when they go to baby class and they're giving them crayons, that's why they color. It's teaching children the motor skills and everything. So can you identify at 4? Really, it's just introducing them.
Yeah.
Very minimal, and that's what we tell all parents. Understand that it's a journey.
Yes, it's truly a journey. Yes.
Journey. The same way in grade 12, when we write our grade 12, we have what we call a composition.
Yes.
I think when I was writing grade 12, it was a composition.
Yes.
But we don't understand that we started learning about the composition from baby class.
Yes.
Because a composition needs me to write.
Yes.
Construct sentences. It
yes.
needs me to. So in baby class, grade 1, I was learning how to write the letter T.
Yes.
Not for now, but for my composition in grade 12.
Absolutely.
I was learning how to write a full stop.
Yes.
I went into grade 4, I learned punctuation.
Yes.
So it was journey by
journey.
Now they
so
told
yes.
me, okay, you've learned everything. Here, write a story.
Yeah.
So that's what we tell parents to say. You start them as early.
Yes.
What do they watch on YouTube?
Because you see, just as you are saying, Ms. Chimfwembe, to show you that we need to start them as early, look at a 2-year-old, how they know how to navigate the phone. Nobody
can't give a
taught them.
2-year-old a device and they'll just
absolutely.
They know how to swipe. They
Yes.
know how to answer.
Yes.
There's this video where it laughs where you are always receiving a call and a child is cutting.
It's cutting them.
Because they are watching something. They keep
They're
so they
cutting.
even know how to cut
Yes.
a call.
They
So
know
it
that
tells
you
you
interrupt them.
They know how to do this. So we just need to, of course, watch what they are watching as well.
Yeah, absolutely,
Because
absolutely.
My daughter came to me with a story the other day with her friends. They were talking about how I think I heard it on radio, how a child was dared to kill themselves.
Really?
And they even told them how they're going to do it. So it's
Really?
these funny games.
And it's in a cartoon?
It's in a cartoon form.
Wow.
That's why my children
scared.
even know that their phones, I don't allow
That
them.
is scary.
Because I think a child, it was actually on radio where I listened to it. There's a radio station I listened to from away from Zambia.
Wow.
So it was saying that a child was playing a game. And they dare them at the beginning, if you lose,
you kill yourself.
kill yourself. And
Oh
they
my
even
God.
show them how to do it.
Oh my
So
God.
it's
That was
basically just how do you...
terrible.
It's terrible.
And that's very worrying. You see, this is why we love what we are doing as Quality for Growth podcast. In as much as we're trying to improve the lives of people, we are speaking about enterprising of the adults. We are in business ourselves, done it for many years. We still continue going to do it. But we are leaving behind the generations that are coming. The children that were brought on this earth, they have us to learn from. At the end of the day, we need to be able to impart in them the right moralities, the quality of life that we are showing the children, And we are so worried. This is where now it just reminds me of a certain case that we had. There was a child as young as 8 years that actually committed the abominable. They took their own life.
So I think I've heard that story. And I was so touched.
How does an 8-year-old know how to do such a thing? And yet you are telling me there's such a cartoon or a game that somebody can be able to learn and children
so
approach.
Then that's where it comes in, when you're teaching them entrepreneurship, you're also talking to them about resilience.
Yes.
When you focus, you're saying you've been in business, I've been in business.
Yes.
There are days, well, I won't say how many days, but how many days don't I wake up and wish, and I just say,
it's just terrible.
I'm done.
Yes.
I can't, because entrepreneurship is hard.
Yeah.
It's not easy. I think growing up for me, the mentors who we had only told us the bright side about it. So where were the people to tell us, look, sometimes your worker won't show up.
To be hard. Yes.
Sometimes the people will insult you for what you do.
Yes.
Entrepreneurship is not easy. That's a whole other episode anyway. So
yes.
It's a whole other episode.
Yeah, but you can go right into it because this is what we're trying to speak to develop the minds of the children and the parents are listening.
It's not easy.
Yes.
Like this journey.
Yeah. No. It's
I can't emphasize it.
It's a bittersweet, isn't it?
You have to have tough skin.
Yes.
You have tough skin with what people say.
Yeah.
Sometimes, because I remember Z-Kidpreneur when we first applied for the awards.
Yeah.
So we did apply for awards and we were accepted. The first time we applied, we won.
You won? Wow.
And we won big names. Because it came third, second, first. And we were first and we won big names.
Wow.
And so there, what happened? It ignited a bit of shaking.
Yeah.
Next meetings, you're hearing people say we can't be competing with small brands.
Things like that. So we can't compete with small
you're
brands.
thinking, I'm the one who should be complaining that I can't be competing with bigger brands.
Why are the bigger brands complaining that they can't compete with us? We're too small.
I told myself, you know what, I'm done with awards. I'm not going to do this anymore.
Oh my God.
I think I'm done.
Oh my
then
God.
Someone told me, look, those big brands, let's take you and put them in those big brands. You win an award for them.
So now
it's not the brand; it's the people who are in charge of winning the awards.
And it's a work that you're putting.
When we started, I think we were the very few. It was not everyone was doing this because this was something different in the country. But now we have a multiple people, and then you're sitting and you're thinking, you know what? I think I'm done with this.
Yeah.
But then again, when you look at the children, like you have a whole generation depending on
that is
you.
depending
Like you
on
said.
You.
You're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And even when we go for meetings these days and you're introducing, you're like, no, we've been in the business this is our 4th year. Everyone's like, you've passed the 3-year gap.
Yes.
You have one gap left, which is the 5 years.
Yes.
And then from there, you run along with it. So
yes.
we need to teach children because in entrepreneurship, there's resilience. How do you get back up when you fall? Are you going to fall? Like we always tell children, when you're running and you trip, whatever you stay there is what makes the difference.
Yes.
You get up, you dust yourself. Yes, people will be laughing, people will be pointing at you, but it's your mind. I'm going to keep running.
What I tell my children is when people laugh with them.
Exactly.
Because maybe what they're laughing at is funny. You find that it's going to carry you on. Just laugh with them.
One who doesn't have a sense of humor.
Who doesn't have a sense of humor. So laugh with them. So when they laugh, you just laugh and then come and realize later on, what are you guys laughing at? And then they will tell you the honest truth. Next lesson will be pick from it.
Yeah.
What they're laughing at. You can laugh along. That way, you will not be hurt. And at the same time, you'll have learned your lesson.
So when we're telling parents, no, register your children for entrepreneurship classes, they think, my child is not a business-minded. Believe me, the lessons you pick from being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, absolutely.
That my mindset when I was working, I don't have anything against people who work.
Yeah.
If you work in the corporate world,
it's absolutely. I was there for many years and I enjoyed it.
It's fun.
I traveled the most.
I mean, the best part
traveled the most.
You don't have to. You're not the one sweating for your salary.
Yes.
You're just wait to get paid.
It's a training phase.
Yes,
it's
a training phase. But my mindset then and my mindset now, two different people.
Absolutely.
Like I'm more of a fighter now than I was then.
That time, because others were fighting for you.
Yes, I'm more of a pusher now than I am then.
And you see, that lesson, just the point that you have raised, that you're now a fighter now than you were in the past when you were in the corporate world. Kids may need to know, the aspects of resilience like you talked about, because most of them, not to use the word being pushovers or being bullied, and then their whole spirit is dampened because they laughed at me and this is what. So they know they have to come and report to you. How do you now prepare them to stand for themselves? Because that is also one quality that a good human being needs to have going forward. Yes.
You need to have emotional
intelligence. Now, how do you go about that?
So with kids, like you've said, the bullying happens.
Yes.
And sadly, even with us adults, social media, I was just seeing there's a lady I follow who was complaining, no, people are calling me ugly on the internet and everything. So already emotional intelligence is a problem for us adults, But then with children, so what we do is in our entrepreneurship classes, you start by talking about self-esteem and loving yourself. So usually when I'm doing my classes with children, the first thing I'm going to wake up is, I don't want you to introduce me with your names. I want you to introduce me with your character.
Yeah.
Tell me one thing you love about yourself.
Yes.
So half of them don't even know my name by the end of when I start.
Yes.
I always say, hi, my name is Beautiful, and I'm here to teach you.
Yes.
And we say, okay, what's your name? What's your name?
What's your name? And they'll tell you, how they feel about themselves. Yes.
So number one, they're going to tell you something. These are kids. So the strongest people they look up to is you as a parent.
Yes.
Even in the way we shout at our children. I was once guilty.
We are guilty.
I
think many of us are guilty. Many parents are guilty.
The sad part is some African children, gentle parenting is not the best.
Yes.
But then, what we always say, so when we're teaching a child emotional intelligence, you're going to teach them first to love themselves, which even we as adults fail to love ourselves. We always feel we must identified by others. If I have 4,000 likes on my profile picture, I'm good. I feel good about myself.
Yes.
If I have one like, I'm so sad and I'm thinking, what happened today? So the first thing you're going to teach a child is how to love yourself.
Yes.
Because I think when you love yourself,
all those things don't matter because you're not going to be defined by others. Yeah.
You love yourself. You
Yes.
identify as others. Then we take it into a bit of religion. So we respect all religions.
Absolutely.
What do you
yourself
what
as
do
a
you
family
believe in? Yes.
believe in?
And every religion has a belief.
Yes.
To say there's a way. And the best thing about religion is every religion teaches to love.
Yeah.
There's always love.
It's a common denominator, isn't it?
There's always love.
Every religion talks about love.
Love yourself.
Yes.
Love yourself. So even if it's, I'll take something that, I'm Christian.
Yes.
So I'll take the Christian aspect about it, is to say, as a Christian, there is what we call the Bible.
Yes.
And it's more of how does God see me?
Yes.
There's a sermon I listened to where they said, my maker is my mirror.
Is my mirror.
And from then,
that's how I project myself. Yes.
How does God see me?
Yes.
So you put in a bit of religion for the children, teach them to love themselves. Even you as a parent, I love you guys. How was your day?
How was your day?
My son will come in and say, hi, mommy, how was work? How was home? Sometimes I'm still working and he's asking me how was work. I want to answer him, but then also... I say, if I answer him badly, he'll stop asking me how's work. Meaning even in future, his wife, he won't ask because he'll say, my mom used to answer me.
Yes. So maybe it's a wrong question. Yeah.
He comes, how's work? Even if I was at home, how was your day at home?
Yes.
No, it was fine. Meaning even when he grows up,
that's what you'll be doing. Yes.
Good morning. How are you? How was your day?
How was your day?
Weekend?
Already those are good customer service traits there.
So
you can sustain your business based on that.
Emotional intelligence is more portraying, and what we always tell the parents is, look, you're the best example to your child. You might not be the perfect, but you're the closest example. So if I'm going to be shouting at my children every day, even amongst themselves as siblings, every day it
will be like that. Yes, they'll always be shouting.
Mommy shouts at us. So teaching them emotional intelligence is one, getting them to love themselves and understand.
Is another.
I always tell the children there's no you.
Yeah.
There will be another precious, but there will never be a precious like you.
Yeah.
You are an amazing.
You are unique in yourself. There's no one who's like you.
In a while, sit down with your child and say, "Do you know my son is Isaiah? Do you know what your name means?
Yes.
You are a prophet.
Yes.
You've done great things.
Yes.
Even if you look, he's read Isaiah. He's still reading.
Yes.
I said you should read what Isaiah says in the Bible.
Yes.
My daughter is Wupe. Like, you're a gift.
You're a gift to me.
To me,
and you're a gift
doesn't mean if
to
someone
everybody
tells
else
you,
who
your hair
encounters
doesn't look nice.
Yes.
Just tell them, to my mommy, I'm a gift, and that's why she named me gift.
Yes.
You're amazing. There will never be another Wupe ever.
Absolutely.
You're the best version of
in yourself. Yes. That's basically, what we need as parents. And it may look like it's simple. A lot of parents are actually falling short, because we are now in the world which is running really fast.
Too fast.
While our children are growing fast, the world is also running really fast. So if you do not find a balance, like you said earlier, I would want you to emphasize yet again on how do you find a balance in this busy world, as a parent, so that you don't leave the children behind. And at the same time, you're also trying to prepare them early enough, for the enterprise that you are doing now.
Yeah.
So like for me, there's a story that is attached to if you go on my socials, you'll find it, of how I started enterprising. You know that my mother taught me how to enterprise, and this is something that I've done from what she taught me when I was young. I started selling, I think, as a child. This time you call it, I was 9, I was selling on my head. Do you know that I sold all the way even up to my first college? This thing that you see people doing, I've done it. So when it comes to marketing, and yet I've been a brand ambassador, marketing products that you have, like the prepaid electricity meters.
Yeah.
We initiated them. We brought them onto the market, brought them into Southern Africa and Eastern Africa. And personally, I was taking those trips going. But if you look at the journey of a child in this Lady Clara, at the age of 9, selling small things, we would want to speak to parents that think, bale chula. But they say, they're giving them gadgets to sell. I have a different story to that effect. My story, personally. And yet what God did is that he transformed the whole thing. And
like I say, I envy children who sit with their mothers at the market. And, I get excited when a child is the one who's selling to me.
Yes.
I get excited because I'm saying, oh, wow, they've started. And a lot of them think, they're suffering.
They're suffering. The children are,
believe me, that child will know
like
negotiation skills better than any of our children who grow up under DSTV and all these things. Yes. Because they understand. So I always envy when a child gives me, oh, man, auntie, nafaka basela, and you're thinking,
yes.
this child knows more than I do.
Exactly.
Right?
And you also, if you are a good human being, you say, even me, Nafaka Pomba,
no, even sometimes
I put Mbasela on your money,
say,
okay? This one is Mbasela.
Exactly. Or something. So coming to your question, how do you balance life as a parent? So generally, because I think we all have different parenting skills, but generally, number one, like I said, is you need to identify what are your roles. Because some parents, not every child was born planned.
Yeah.
You start to say that. Not every child was planned to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
there are some,
I get it.
And some parents maybe are still not ready.
Yeah.
But
acceptance of the
key
gifts
to
that
I'll tell the parents is basically number one is sacrifice. Like, what sacrifice am I going to make my child? Number two, I would say is everything comes to sacrifice.
Yes.
You have to make the time. Like for me, everyone close to me knows Sunday. It's very rare I come out of the house.
Yes.
Very rare.
Yeah.
Because I'll be cooking. And I got this from my mom. Every Sunday there would be traditional meals.
Absolutely. That's the time you are home. It's the same in my house up until now.
Yes, of course, because I'm a Sunday goer. I go to church on Sunday. But Sundays is always when we sit. I have a crazy life now, because especially being an entrepreneur. But I pick my kids at 3:30 p.m.
Yes.
From 3:30 to 6,
I
will not do anything that has to involve work.
Absolutely.
Unless I have a Zoom meeting or something.
Yes.
But I'm always in a cooking. I'm in mother mode at that time.
Absolutely.
Picking the kids, get your uniforms together.
I love that mode.
I love it. Because my kids, I don't know the last time I actually put their uniforms. They put their uniforms on
Absolutely.
their own. I ask them, tomorrow, what are you wearing? Sports or uniform? Uniform. Okay, with this load shedding, put them together.
Prepare
I'll iron them.
Yes.
When power is there, are your shoes clean? Is this clean? Homework. So I get into that mode.
Yeah.
Because if tomorrow I'm going to say, I'm busy, because some of us come with that mentality, but bills need to be paid.
Exactly.
So I need to work for them.
But you are leaving the human behind.
So
and
I'm sure you've met young teenagers who've got, their parents have all the money, but they are spoiled.
Absolutely.
They are total distraction.
Yes.
Because parents focused on more of the financial aspect than the emotional aspect. So
that is where a lot of parents agree. This is why I thought we should talk about how to balance, which you have just actually said. It's about sacrifice. And pick a day in which mommy is doing the cooking today in the house. And, it just feels good.
Yes.
When the children grow, they will know, because you're also showing them skills. They will also know that mommy didn't just go to the office and came back. Mom went, worked, and whatever she did. But when she came home, she also showed us how to cook. Yeah. She also showed us how to keep the environment clean. She also showed us how to receive people. So there are all sorts of these things that you can think of, as a mother, that you can be able to find time to impart in the lives of your children. And for those that are not yet, attached to their children, maybe they're first-time moms, and their child is 4, and they're thinking, oh, what are they talking about? What words, do you want to tell them as we wind up?
So I always tell people is, who do you identify as your child?
Yes.
Okay. I have nieces and nephews, and most of their mothers usually tell me.
I love what you said. Who do you identify as your child?
Who is my child?
Your child? Yes.
My child is not only the person I gave birth.
Yes, absolutely.
My child, I have nieces, I have nephews, I have my friends' children, I have everyone, there's the children who I teach under Z-Kidpreneur.
Yes.
Those I identify as my children. Yes. So to get attached, let me say, so attachment is basically love.
Yeah.
It's basically just love.
Absolutely.
So like my cousin likes saying, every time we have a function, everyone is, I'm going to Auntie Chichi, can I go to your house? Can I go to your house? And my cousins laugh, what is at your house?
That's these children want to come to your house.
It's always, I want to go.
Yes.
And for me, I just tell them the secret is, as much as I love children, as long as they can handle themselves, I'm okay. The child where you have to bath and I'm a bit scared to go. But as long as I can have 10 children. And, my cousin's like, I need to come to your house and see what it is.
Yes.
But I just have basically everything that everyone has in the house, the TV and outside and all that. But like you said, it's showing children love. That's how you get attached to it. Yes. I used to teach at a school, financial literacy to the children as an after-school program. Then I stopped for a while. So that's the school my children go to. So even when I'm just going to pick up my children, you find all of them are running to you.
They're running towards you.
Okay, when are you coming
back?
So attachment is really just pouring out the love.
Yeah.
To say, look, this is a small world. There's so much hate going on.
Yes,
It's just pouring out the love.
Yes,
to
absolutely.
your own children, basically, it's easy. Because,
But to other people's children.
If you've grown, you've seen them grow. Because sometimes, like a mother, you sit down, I'm sure, and you look and say, wow, this is when you're having conversations with your daughter, like my daughter is about my height.
Yes.
So when we're talking, you sit down and think, oh, this is something beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to children away, anyway, I love working with children. So children who are not mine biologically, it's just really pouring them out love and saying, this is the
and they will love you right back.
And they will love you right back.
And it becomes really easy for you to be able to disseminate the right counsel and the right teaching and the right skills that you actually want to transfer into them.
Skills and understand. Yeah. So even with parents, I always tell them to say, look, the entrepreneurship journey is, there's so much of us saying, I wish I knew then what I know now. Life would have been so much easier. My decisions would have made better decisions. So we always say it's never too early.
Absolutely, it's never too early. It's never too early. So the message that we take home is that as parents, in as much as we are busy running, trying to see what we can do to make ends meet for the economic growth, the very economy that we want to grow, the beneficiary of the economy that we are growing is actually the children that we have actually brought on earth. They may be one day old today, but whatever that you're doing today is actually for the fact that you want to prepare a future for them. Yeah. So why don't we drag them along? Why don't we pick them along? Why don't we nurture them into being students of growth?
Yeah, because I always use my life as an example. I lost my parents, unfortunately, when I was young.
Oh, and sorry about that.
Even in as much as you say, I have nothing against building. Like I would also build and leave a house for my children.
Yes.
But then there's material stuff. Property grabbing stopped. At least it stopped.
It stopped. At least it stopped. Yeah.
There were a few things that my parents left that we never got to see.
Yeah.
I mean, we went from a life where, my dad was working outside. My mom worked for the embassy in another country.
I can picture that.
Good life. And then they go, and now you have the down life. So basically, when we say teaching children life skills from a young age, it's not to say we're making them adults, but you're preparing them for the challenges.
For the challenges ahead,
because the same economy we are facing now, imagine if our parents taught us things that would have protected us now. I haven't always been a savings person, in as much as I teach financial literacy.
Yeah, because you had to learn it in your adulthood.
I had to learn it.
And now you know how important that children should know.
There's a saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. It's very hard.
Yeah.
I can't even come learn Chinese at my age. I need to do it for 2 years.
Yeah.
But what's the best time a child learns a language?
It's when they're young.
So that's why I'm saying, even you can teach children entrepreneurship skills when they're young. They will learn them.
Yeah.
Children must learn money has value.
Yes.
So it's not only teaching them how to run a business, but you're teaching them just how to run with life.
Absolutely.
Because life is a business on its own.
Life is a business on its own. And you see, children, they better know that everybody is a billboard, so that your character that you portray now will either make your auntie to look after you or you looking after your aunt.
Very
so
true.
it is how you portray yourself now, how you are well behaved now that actually, fosters the future that you envision for yourself. So for you to be a good human being, children need to know that they are moving billboards, that everybody is a brand, especially now. Let them know at a tender age. Could that be? I'm interested to know to that effect, how many children have you nurtured so far, or rather do you have in Kidpreneur?
So we started 2020 at the COVID time.
Yeah.
Where there was no physical contact. From 2020, I can say we've directly interacted with over 1,000 children.
Yeah.
And indirectly, I think we've gone beyond the 2,000 mark. But really, what we aim to do is just to get to as many children as we can to be able to get the message. And basically also push it into the schools, because that's where they spend their time.
Absolutely. So in that case, because I wanted to find out which forums do you use to disseminate this very, very important information to these our kids?
Social media, we're everywhere. Facebook, I think we're just not on X, former Twitter.
Oh,
yeah. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. And some of this information is free.
Yes.
You go to YouTube, the videos are there.
Do you also have physical classes with them?
We do have physical classes, So we do. We have a digital campus.
Okay.
It makes life easier.
Yes, of course, especially
we
now.
We have classes that are because even when you tell a parent, sorry to say, when you tell a parent to say we're giving out classes and the class costs 1,500.
Yes.
The minute a parent just hears 1,500, they're like,
like why?
Why am I paying 1,500?
But it's important.
But it's really the knowledge they're getting.
Yeah.
So we do have a digital campus, much easier. The work is already there.
Uh-huh.
The children just go log in. It's like they're learning online classes. You know, they watch the videos, they interact, they do quizzes, they do a test, they're certified.
Just there, yes.
And we also do have physical classes. We do have a lot of events that we do. Like we have a financial literacy and climate change fair that we do every year.
Okay. When does that take place? Which
so this
month
year
of
is
the
taking place on the 7th of September.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's free. So parents come in, you get to meet the insurance people, the bankers, the tax people, the pensions people, and children get to learn
about those and what they do
and interact. So we usually do have a lot of events that go on right now. Like we're going to Ndola in August. Under entrepreneurship, we are also taking young children between 7 and 17.
Yeah.
So we're going to take part in the Africa Kidpreneur Summit in Botswana.
Oh, fantastic!
In August. So
That's
we have
great.
young minds who are going to pitch businesses in front of different African children. They're going to talk about their businesses. They're going to talk about, and you'd be shocked that there are different categories. There's green economy. So even when we were looking at it, children in Africa doing things. Because when I looked at the children who are doing green economy business,
they're so young.
I looked and I said, you look at their business plans.
Yes.
You hear them pitch.
Absolutely fantastic.
You think I'm wasting time? Let me just I can retire.
Let me retire because the next generation is ready. And that is so fulfilling, especially for a kidpreneur, enterprising person like yourself. Like, because it's as if you're being motivated. You are seeing the results of what you're trying to achieve.
Exactly.
And I think that trip to Botswana is a very, very important one.
It is.
It's a very so you have already selected which kids are going.
Yes, there are a few kids. I think we have like 8 children going. 8 children going, female and male. One of them actually is a designer, so he does cartoons.
Oh, good.
And he's only 13.
Wow,
but
fantastic.
If you watch the cartoons he does, you think this is a full-grown adult who has made a cartoon. The green economy, there's a child from, where's that country? There's another African country where a child is doing green economy business. And these are the businesses we are hearing adults pitch.
Absolutely, and these are the businesses adults are pitching now.
Yeah, but then, of course, with the main thing, we always say school.
Yeah.
Don't forget school.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you need that general education.
Do you, as we conclude, think that we can be able to, add into the curriculum, the enterprising, especially from a tender age? Can we add entrepreneurship, to the curriculum, especially starting from 4, for example?
I feel we are very late. I feel we are late, actually. This should have been done years back, I don't know how true this is, but someone once said the education we have is teaching us to be slaves.
Yes.
It's basically slavery.
Yeah.
Because it's centering us around blue collar jobs.
Yes.
Because we have people saying there are no jobs and everything. I do agree to disagree, but then again, I do feel it needs to be added. It needs to be added. It's not even a question of... I think
you should be able to...
It needs to be added, yes. We are still pursuing, of course. We're still pursuing. Ministry of Education have been people that have opened their doors to us.
Yeah.
We do have chats with them. Whenever we call them for events, they are there.
Yeah.
And I feel there is a time where it will fully grow. So I think this next generation is lucky.
It's on fire. Absolutely.
They're very lucky because what I'm seeing, and even in the background, what is being prepared for them, I say this generation is lucky.
That's fantastic.
I wish that we could...
Actually, this generation is very lucky. I
wish we could be reborn.
Unfortunately, we're already born. So what we can do is impart what we can impart and be able to learn what we can learn from our children. And for parents, adults also do learn from children. I personally learn quite a lot from my own children.
Yes,
and
I the ones who handle our devices.
Yes.
Mommy, you don't do this. You do
that. You do
that. Yeah. So that's what we always say. I would have been selfish to say no. Let me just focus on my children. But of course, you want to look out for the next generation.
Your children also need the environment to grow in. So if the environment is corrupt,
they will marry.
Anything. Yes, and they will marry. Who knows who they will marry?
They need whoever they are marrying to be mindset.
Exactly. Absolute business mindset. So there you have it, our viewers. We had a very exciting, episode conversation with Ms. Chimfwembe, the kidpreneur, kidpreneur. I think a lot of people should be able to access their Facebook page and learn quite a lot, amazing stuff that they are doing out there. And as parents, we cannot continue enterprising, leaving our children behind. So even as we speak about quality for growth, we know that we cannot leave our children behind. Quality for growth represents everything to do with your life. My name is Clara, your host. Until next time, do follow our Facebook page and YouTube, and please get interactive. Thank you so much.